the thing about this weekend is it's my dad's birthday and Father's Day. Those always line up, so that's why. I got him a card for each. I'll probably get him a present too, actually. I haven't gotten him a present in years because of money, not because like I don't care.
You don't love your dad.
That's my favorite thing about well, I assume the show has begun. Welcome back to Late Night with Big and Wow. I should say before I continue, before we just record 5 minutes of useless audio.
Hey, happy
welcome
Father's
back.
Day.
It's another Friday, aka the Thursday, right before the Friday because we're late. We usually record these on like Monday, and Mia just last night was like, "Yeah, we don't have a podcast." I was like, "Oh, you're right."
Yeah, because normally we have 2 filming days a week, and this time we only have the one on Sunday.
Right, which I didn't even think about. I forgot that happened.
Yeah,
it's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while since we've been in our normal BigWowBig groove because I've been working on Cosmic Emerald and my new job IRL that I've been doing, and Mia's been fitting multiple thumbs up her ass.
Yeah.
So we've been busy.
It's been difficult.
We're still here. We're still grinding. We're still here just for you. Even though we were here for you like 2 months ago, and that's all the content you're seeing.
The hardest part of fitting multiple thumbs up your ass is finding willing thumb donors.
Indeed.
It's really been the most difficult part.
I'll finish, since it's probably in the episode. I'll finish what I was saying, though. I was just saying that my favorite, the reason gift giving is like a super important part of any holiday for me. Sorry. It's like receiving, like exchanging, receiving and giving gifts is cool, obviously. But like, I love like showing up in terms of giving, especially around like Christmas. So just because, and my family celebrates Christmas in a very like, not in a very like passive way. We're not like Christians like that.
Yeah.
Christmas for us is just about like the family get together and stuff, and the spirit and stuff.
It's all about family.
Got them backwoods in my back pocket. I'm trying to Bruce Willis, try harder, die harder. Sorry. I killed Bill for a second. I just love giving. Yeah. So like last time I had like regular income around the holidays. Well, kind of regular income, kind of a credit card that you shouldn't buy. If you, I don't know why you would be, but if you're a parent and or like a future parent and you want to be a parent, if you in any capacity in the next like 70 years will be a parent, don't give your fucking 18-year-old kid a credit card. Don't. You're fucking dumb if you do. Why would you do that? You're just going to fuck their entire life up in their 20s. And that's not personal. That's just objective. Anyway.
I got a debit card when I was like 16 or 17, got like a bank account and a debit card. And I'm now 21 and I still don't have a credit card. And I know I need to get one for multiple purposes, but I have never gone around to getting a credit card.
Yeah, well, I'm thankful for you that you don't have one yet, because they're fucking
I don't really have a
and
reason to use it.
Exactly.
The only reason I would need it is if I was going to go to a hotel or something.
If I was like 18, I had millions of reasons I could make to use it, so I did. That's what I bought my VR headset with. And so anyway, my point was that around like that year, around Christmas, I had steady income for an 18-year-old who's shitty with money. And I had money incoming.
Steady as a sinking ship, gliding smoothly to the depths.
As steady as a car that just flew off the bridge. And I had the credit card money. So I got like everybody 3 gifts. And I was like, this is lit. This is awesome. I love like showing up like that at Christmas, being like, I
am Santa Claus.
I got everybody. Basically, yeah, I like to be like the Santa of the group, and it's not a pride thing. It's not a showing
Christmas.
up thing. the Grinch. I love that scene. The Grinch. Yeah, I remember. I was like so excited. I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Like that is. It's just a huge. Like the holidays are my favorite thing ever for that reason. Like starting around like the preparation for Halloween is when it starts for me, and it goes to like New Year's.
Yeah.
And then from then until school starts, it's like just cleaning up. that season. But the last holiday season in 2022 was really fun. I had a great time. I had a boyfriend at the time, and spending that time with him was really cool. He met my family. It was really fun. We're not together anymore, but at the time it was really awesome. And like, we got to celebrate my birthday. It was my first birthday out as trans, as Emmy. It was super fun. And Christmas was really cool too. I got my like most girly Christmas. I got a bunch of cool girly stuff for Christmas, and it was really fun. But that was in like 2019 is when I got like everybody like 3 gifts, and that's like the 1 year I've been able to do that. And I also get like gifts. I'm like the worst. I'm not. It's not like the worst, but I get the gifts that have like meaning. I don't get like material things that are expensive or cool. I get like stuff that like people will cherish because of how it connects us.
It's about the thoughtfulness.
So like, I made my sister. I didn't make my sister. I showed my sister Starlight Brigade in like 2018 at one point. I showed her Starlight Brigade, and she fell in love with that song, and she used it as like a motivator forever, and she still loves it,
song.
Obviously. But I got her a Starlight Brigade shirt for that Christmas, with like the art on it from the twerp store, and so I got her that, and I think I got her like a Steven Universe shirt too, because that was the year we both got into it. So I got her that stuff, and I was like, we both connect over these 2 things. I wanted you to have this stuff. And so I got like that kind of stuff. I got my mom, I had just gotten back into college that year, so I got my mom like a sweatshirt of the college I was going to be like, you can be like, now you can like wear the merch of the school that I go to. So that was really fun. So I like doing that, and I would do the same thing for like, if we had like a BigWowBig office, I'd do like the same thing. I just very much enjoy spending my money on others, Mr. Beast style, but in a much more low key way, like Junior Beast.
I tend to, if I have disposable income, a good majority of time that's going to end up, if there's nothing that's like immediately that I want, then it'll go towards like somebody else typically, because I just have enough shit. Yeah. That I don't really like. The only time I really want to buy stuff is if it's like something that I need, or like a replacement part or something.
Like Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, like Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, exactly.
Whatever. Metroid Prime Remastered.
Hey, I don't have Metroid Prime Remastered, but I want it.
I considered it today.
God, it's only $40.
Today was my first paycheck from my new job, for context. So I got paid a good sum. I unfortunately only got paid like half of a normal paycheck, because I only got paid for my first week. Which was still lit, still really good amount, more than I've ever been paid for 1 week, believe it or not, which is hilarious because it's not even that much. But I'm making more at this job than I ever have. I'm in a really lucky place right now. I'm very thankful. But I have had for a really long time, like since I was a kid, I remember making this plan. I've had plans to like pay back people who have helped me in my life for different things. I've had plans to like save up big sums of money and just drop it on them one day and be like, this is yours. This is Mr. payment Beast. For everything. Mr. Beast, this is my $1 million for, influencing me. I hope that you keep it and don't give it away, because it means so much to me. I still have a ton of people that like one day when I'm making bank eventually, whether it's probably through BigWowBig and or Cosmic Emerald and whatever else I'm doing.
The lottery.
Yeah, gambling. Stealing from kids' elementary school lunchboxes.
I don't know why we bother why we bother making content out of BigWowBig when we could just take the Patreon money and go gamble it.
That's true. We go to Vegas and gamble and
just
win
get
millions
money.
of dollars. Because it's just like, why would you not?
I'm gonna win Vegas.
I'm gonna buy 10,000 CSGO cases so I can sell 3 knives for $700. I've never, actually, when I was like 15, I went on a CSGO case haul just because I was really into watching those videos at the time.
Oh, yeah.
I only played the most minimal amount of CSGO though. I think back then I only played like bot matches just for fun. I never played online. My first PC shooter that I really gave a shit about competitively was Overwatch, and that started in 2017 and went until like the beginning of 2019 ish, and then I fell off of that once I started going back to school and stuff in 2019, or I guess started going to school. That would have been the first time I went to college.
Reintegrating with society. No time for Overwatch.
Yeah. No time to grind. Have to do education.
Winton.
Yeah, I have had that plan for a long time. I mean, it's the same with like I've had plans to do like big charity events and stuff, and I still want to do those. I'm just like trying to I'm trying to farm my content right now so I can grow my channel and then be able to do stuff like that. And I'm sure we as BigWowBig will do stuff like that too.
Is a better word, because there's content farms that are just like uploading movie clips to TikTok.
I'm trying to create what my channel is like known for, and I'm trying to like
We're approaching climax.
I'm building upon the foundation that my channel is laid upon, so that I can continue to thrive in the numbers, so that we can grow.
We're just gonna keep stroking BigWowBig until it comes.
And it is quite pre-cummy. We are growing very we're growing quite quickly right now. Well, steadily. We're steadily growing.
A couple watery drops have leaked out, and we're like, oh, I'm gonna come.
I don't think you answered me, but did you see the video Chandler sent in the Boomer server yesterday, the friend server?
I don't think I did.
It's the fucking weirdest video. I don't even think I can describe it to you without I have to show you after this podcast, before we do our other thing, but it's literally this streamer just has like text-to-speech on.
Oh yeah, he sent that to me on TikTok.
Yeah, and he has like, I guess you can like pick what voice it is.
Yeah.
And somebody just did SpongeBob saying, oh Gary, I'm about to go. Oh God. I can't do SpongeBob, but it's just imagine that.
Yeah.
But SpongeBob. Just imagine SpongeBob violently
Have you seen
orgasming.
there's a TikTok live stream. I don't know if it's just TikTok, but the SpongeBob AI, the infinite SpongeBob.
I think so.
And there's like,
that sounds familiar.
There's like this one clip that like became,
I think I've seen it.
That like garnered more attention from it, because it's not just an AI thing fed off of SpongeBob, but there's also like a Discord apparently that it like takes prompts from. So that's why like it's it's not as like AI doing its own weird thing as much as something like Seinfeld AI, even though that still was able to be prompted in its own weird way, fed like bad information. But like,
yeah,
it's a lot more fabricated, the SpongeBob AI's weirdness, because it's prompted by people for the most part, and so people are like, whoa, it's crazy that the Squidward AI was like, August 26, 2036, the heat death of the universe, August 26, 2036. And there's like, yeah, that would be weird if it did that on its own. But the fact that there's a Discord full of people that are like telling SpongeBob to say snort coke off a hooker's ass, like,
hey,
it's not doing it on its own. It's like, wow, look what this crazy thing this parrot said. Yeah, did the parrot say that? Did somebody say it to the parrot and then the parrot said it? I don't think it came up with that on its own, did it now?
Oh, man. Ayo. Oh, you know what I want to do? Oh, I have a Discord Nitro again, so I can play any of these sound effects.
Yay.
I was going to say I should server boost this server so we can get more sound effects in here. I'm just happy I got a fucking refill on my medicine today. I needed it.
Get a refill on your money, Sin.
They actually were calling me, and they were like mad that I wasn't coming to get it yet. And I was like, I'm fucking getting to it. Holy shit. Relax.
I've lucked out with one of my medications that's like, I get one of my medications in a 3-month supply and the other in a 30-day supply, because one of them I can't get through the mail, which sucks, because it's, ADHD medication is restricted or a controlled substance, so it can't be sent through the mail, so I can't get a 3-month supply of it at a time, even though that would be cheaper. I have to get it every month from the pharmacy. And so I got that refilled a couple weeks ago. And when they refilled that, they also refilled my antidepressants. And I was like, man, I still got like a month's supply of my antidepressants. I don't need like the second bottle that they like refilled here and now. It's just going to end up in, it's like kind of like a shampoo conditioner kind of issue where you'll just like have so much shampoo, but you've run out of conditioner so quickly. But it turned out in my favor, because I looked in my bottle of antidepressants today. I was like, hey, that's like empty in like a couple days, and the weekend's coming around, meaning that I won't be able to get like my prescription from my doctor over the weekend, and also it being over the mail, meaning that it wouldn't arrive immediately. But I remembered, hey, I have the extra that I got from the pharmacy because they filled that at the same time. So I just have that nice overstock, and I don't have to worry about that.
I also picked up with my Adderall a refill on my antidepressants because I was running low on those. I got, for some reason, it's like my anxiety, bipolar, and depression meds come from someone, and then my ADHD comes from someone else. And those are like my daily meds. And I usually get like the anxiety and bipolar medicines. Those usually get refilled at the same time, and then the other two, vice versa. For some reason, even though they're not connected at all, they just seem to run out around the same time. But I also had some antidepressants left over. Not that many, though. I just poured them in the new bottle to fill it out so that I had them. But I've probably got like a little over 30 days of those now.
Just putting the extra over into the next bottle, and it's like,
yeah,
one for you, two for me.
I showed you my anxiety meds were overfilled, and so I've had those for I will have those for quite some time.
Yeah, they gave you Mount Medicine in that bottle.
Yeah, they like BBC'd my fucking medicine.
They should just do one of those like money or like ticket tornado things where you have to like
that pussy, she's a motherfucker.
Yeah, you just have to like go in this like wind box and just catch prescriptions, and however many you can catch in the 1 minute is how many you get for the next month.
Yeah, they should just like for elementary schools they should just have like a flying cage of food stamps, food stamp cards, and just like let them grab them as many as they can. Be like, ooh, looks like Stacy doesn't get to eat this weekend. Oh, sorry.
I think they should load like individual pills into those like baseball launchers for like training.
Like the
you gotta like stand down range at a batting cage and like catch it.
That would fucking suck. Have you ever seen? Oh, that reminds me. Have you ever seen the video of the kid in the batting cage that he hits the baseball and it like lands right back on the fucking tee?
Maybe.
And he's like, holy shit! It's actually really epic. He's like, oh my fucking. It's really funny.
I don't know. I get a lot less videos like that on my like recommendeds than you do, because I've seen when my YouTube recommended is all like, you know, like stream VODs of like all kinds of games, whatever, a couple streamers that I watch, and then like some science videos, stuff like that. And then you'll show me something on YouTube, and your recommended page will be like, epic student does whatever, sports moments, cool, all swag.
My homepage is usually just it's usually full of like continue watching a bunch of different shit, or it's full of like Tim the Tatman videos, or it's full of like the reason it's usually full of Tim the Tatman videos too is because I watch a lot of his streams, so it's like extended content. And then
controversial. You can't let anybody know you watch Tim the Tatman right now.
Markiplier too. Yeah, I know. We're not gonna talk about that. I don't care. I don't care about either of those men. I don't want to talk about that right now. What's on my homepage right now? If I go there, let's see.
What's with this homepage? Just in my girl.
There's a lot of like wrestling list videos. Here's some wrestling news. Here's like a commentary YouTuber. Here's like some kind of like just, it's called Goodbye FaZe Clan. I'm fucking literally could not give less of a shit. Here's Fortnite on Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 3 RTX 4090 24 gigabytes. Whoa. 1 second from every Spider-Man movie. That's on my homepage. I gotta watch that. Mia also knows I go through and extensively clip my YouTube content. I have a great library of clips I enjoy. I often bring groups of them in SWATs to show Mia whenever we meet up to film stuff.
I never have clips or whatever, anything to show, because nobody watches the content that I watch, so I don't share none of it.
That really stinks.
What am I gonna share the clip from Vinesauce Vinny? Fucking go Spain. Nope.
Mia's like, I like Germa and Star Trek. Yay! I mean, hey, I used to, as a kid, I would watch the same shit over and over, and that was like I would watch the same DVD movies like over and over. I'm very much repetitive in my content consumption. It's like Mia and I have very different approaches to when like artists release new albums. Like I usually listen to the whole thing over and over. I add my favorite songs to my playlists and shit. I update all my shit whenever new stuff comes out, and you can describe your side of that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's just that
exactly how to.
Whenever I come across new music, it usually just gets added into like a collection of whatever I enjoyed from before, and it takes a lot of like mental effort for me. If I'm going to be like enjoying new music, then it's going to be because I got to a point where I was familiar enough and tired enough of the music I was listening to that I want to add something new into like my playlists and what I'm listening to every day. But you know, unless I've reached that point, then if I listen to a new album all the way through, I'm probably going to end up liking that album. I'm going to listen to all the songs on it over and over again, put that in my playlist, and then I'll listen to that album for like months and months and months before I'm tired of it and want something new. So that's just what I listen to. Like I haven't listened to the new like Kill Bill or Rav or anything like that, because like there was a Red Vox album that dropped in March this year, and I've just been listening to that. That's been like, if I feel like listening to music, I'll listen to something that I already know that I like, and I don't tend to go outside of that unless I'm explicitly like seeking something new.
Yeah, I'm always one to jump on new stuff because I'm always I like mingling fresh content with my current content, so it works really well. I often mix different kinds of music and playlists that I just feel like vibe together, and it's nothing in particular. They're all completely different kinds of songs. I just like enjoy all of those at the same time, and I jump like that. And I'm sure any neurotypical person would fucking hate my playlists, but you know,
I mean, if you were to
I don't know those people, so I don't care.
If you were to condense our two different styles of taking in new things and like consuming new content, the easiest clear defined line between that, I use NVIDIA Studio drivers and you use Game Ready.
Oh no, I switched to Studio after you told me about it.
Switch to the Studio.
Yeah. Mio is like the Studio ones are better.
If I tend to go with the more like whatever stable version of whatever. I just a thing that's happened in between last podcast and this one, I've put Linux Mint on my laptop, and that's been fun. Turns out that
didn't sound fun, liar.
Yeah, it turns out that it's not the easiest thing. The reason why it's not fun is because AMD it just doesn't fucking care to support Radeon drivers anymore. And they haven't for like 6 years. And so if I wanted to use that laptop as like being able to do like light editing while I'm out and about, like put together clips or whatever else, that's just really, really short, light work that could be done on a laptop.
Put together some clips. Just gonna put together some clips.
The problem is I would have to use DaVinci Resolve because that's a lot lower in power. And I do want to learn just how to use that in general because, Adobe.
Yeah, I hate that software.
But the problem is I just can't get the correct GPU drivers because my laptop has an integrated GPU in Radeon, whatever, integrated graphics. So it doesn't detect as its own device by Linux. So I have to get the specific drivers for that, and I can't find the specific drivers for that or anything that's been supported in the past 6 years. And I keep trying to find drivers for it, and then it makes the entire laptop break because they're old drivers that are fucking busted.
Hell yeah.
It's awesome. I love it. I honestly, at this point, might just have to use might just have to use an older version of Premiere. I don't even know.
I kind of used to be a lot more like that. I used to try and maximize every device I had for content creation or anything like that. I have grown so... I've kind of talked about this before, at least with me. I've talked about it, but I've grown so casual with making content that it does not matter in any capacity as long as I'm able to like be in front of the camera. I guess like the editing studio is where I'm like the most cinematic, but it doesn't. I don't think of like what I make as like filmmaking or whatever. It's just what I make. I make videos. I don't treat them like they're special. I make them. I treat them like they're special in the moment, I guess. But when I'm editing a video, I am watching it and coming up with ideas as I'm watching it and then adding those edits, unless it's like something very obvious like subtitles, which is something new I'm doing. Right now, I'm working on a new video for Cosmic Emerald that's really long, and I'm adding subtitles to every part, which is going to take a long time. And I added subtitles to some parts already because it was really funny. Like, for example, if you've seen the Chandler raging at Pokemon clip, that's just me sitting and rolling around in my chair while he rages. I added subtitles to that, and it's a lot funnier now. And I think you're the only one that's seen it, actually, but it's really funny. And so I was like, oh, this really does. I didn't think like bubbly subtitles like really added that much. I knew that they added to like algorithm push, but I didn't think they like really added that much to the content itself. But I've been humbled, so I started working that into my. I'm making called what I call the Cosmic Emerald Ultimate Compilation, and so I'm working on that right now. And each clip has like different like edits, and it's kind of been helping me get into the idea of making stream highlights, which is a direction I've been heading with my channel. And I already have some ideas for that, but I've not done anything major with that yet. So nothing official to be like, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. I'm
all
not.
this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm
just doing it. I'm just doing what I can.
I'm unfortunately everything that I edit, every video that I work on has to be treated like it's special, and like everything that I do has to be the best thing I've ever done, because I physically cannot half-ass anything. The way my brain works is that if I am not doing something the way that I know I can do it, at like what I know would yield the best results, then to me I'm doing it wrong. If I'm and even if that's like sometimes an unreasonable thing, like those measures to make it like as good as I know I can make it, then like it just doesn't. I like physically just can't do that. My brain just it won't do it.
I don't think that's unreasonable.
Well, so it's like the extent at which it gets taken, and like overcooking some stuff sometimes, and like sitting on videos too long, and it generates a lot of anxiety for me, and a lot of the procrastination that I have around like a lot of the lack of motivation around things like editing that I end up having.
Yeah.
Is that I'm stuck in this kind of way where I have to make everything as good as I know I can make it, even if that isn't the required result, even if good enough is great in that circumstance, and it just has to be passable for it to be good. I still have to like slave over every detail and just like pour my heart into like every minute thing, because if I'm not doing that, then it doesn't feel like I'm doing it right. But that comes with its own set of stress from that, because then when it's difficult to do those things, then I feel like I can't do those things, and it gets me down, like how high I set my own expectation versus the output that I'm capable of doing. And so like I get like
hard on yourself, yeah,
I get like stun locked by this of like wanting to make it as good as possible, but that fear of not being able to do it as good as I know I can, and not being able to like bring it to that level, ends up keeping me from doing it at all. It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, I just trust myself because of the groove I got into last summer when I was making like the food tier list and the fucking Mika interview, and the Mika interview really inspired me to do more. And again, I still have like my next guest lined up, and still just haven't finished prepping that episode because I've been so busy, and that's under completely understandable circumstances. Nobody's shocked by that. but it's hard to feel like I'm usually, when I'm hard on myself in terms of content, it's usually on the output itself, not like the content, because I know that I make good content when I do. It's just the falling off the grind for me that I'm like, I've fallen off. I need to get back on the saddle and start making videos again.
Mm-hmm.
But to some degree, you have to like look at yourself and be like, you're busy, and that's fine. You need to chill. And so I've gotten good at working with myself on anything like that. I mean, anything truly, because of how much shit I used to just like, and I mean, sometimes I still do it, but I'm able to pull myself out of it nowadays. But I often will like make up really anxious scenarios in my head and then get mad about them, even though they don't exist, or get like upset about them. And nowadays, I'll just be like, I'm making this up.
It's not real.
And like, that's it. It's not. It's really not. Like, we make so much shit up in our heads that upsets us, and it's so stupid, and it's so not worth worrying about, because it's not real. It's not real. It's fake. You're worrying about nothing. Your anxiety is a complete fad. Like, real tough situations people are in are very different, but the anxiety created around it is much stronger than it often needs to be, because it will just pester the situation into your head over and over with a hammer, and then it's all you can think about, instead of like a way out or like what's next. Like, a lot of people think too far ahead or too far behind, or focus on what they're not doing in the moment instead of anything else. So
worrying about the worst is keeping you from being your best.
For me, it's like, I can't explain how I got around all of this, because it took years of like shit and going through shit. So I can't like just explain that in this podcast. But just know that if you're feeling like a ton of anxiety around something you're doing, or you're just like, I'm not doing enough, that you will figure it out. You just need to like, you just need to get to the point of which you will let yourself figure it out. Because once you clear your head and you start being able to actually think about it, then you will realize what is actually the problem, and you'll be able to handle it. Because it really gets so blown out of proportion by our own anxieties. And that's not to say that anxiety is like ridiculous or not real, or you shouldn't worry about it. Of course you should worry about it. But that's what things like therapists and medications are for, and support systems and stuff. You know, like a lot of people say, and I agree, that if your birth family is not, we get to make our own families. So, you know, if the family you were born into is not your family, then that's not your family. You know, if your friends are your family, your friends are your family. If you have like a community you're a part of that feels like your family, then that's your family. I have a lot of groups in my life I would consider family, but none of them are like family. But a lot of them aren't like I obviously consider my family, like my parents and my siblings, but you know, I have a lot of other people I consider family, and they're not my family. They weren't popped out the same pussy line I was. So just don't let yourself get yourself down.
I think the key things of getting around anxiety, the big factors that are important to either overcoming it or avoiding it, is that anxiety is, you know, a form of fear. It's a fear of the unknown that manifests even into the things that you do know. That it's even if you have like a whole bunch of knowledge on one thing, and something that was causing anxiety gets resolved, if you just keep having more questions, your brain keeps having more questions and keeps wondering about like where that situation goes from there, then you're just going to keep having anxiety over it, even if the initial thing that you were anxious about is over and past.
Right.
It just continues on finding more and more threads to keep pulling at. And so
it will eat you alive.
Yeah, that fear of the unknown is where like a lot of anxiety stems from for a lot of people. And I think a big thing of avoiding that is just like, I think just ignoring it a lot of times and finding something else to actually like think about and worry about. Or sometimes like for some people, like positive affirmations can work if you just want to like cut off those threads and just make it's like, nope, it'll be fine. Right. There's no reason to ask these questions and have these worries. Or
Your voice
even
is a lot more powerful than you think it is. Truly, it is like I just said earlier. Like I often will talk myself out of anxieties because I know that they're not real in the back of my head, and I can push that voice forward to speak
Yeah.
ahead of my anxieties. It's possible.
That's what I was gonna
It's
say
possible
next.
as much as you don't think it is. But I'll let you continue. I
Yeah,
don't wanna
it's
take
that
anything.
you like having that rational voice and just letting that be not to like a level where you're detached from everything, but like take smaller pieces of information that you process throughout your day and think about them and process them just as you go
Right.
about doing your daily regimen. You wake up, get ready for
Your daily
work or
Reginald.
school or whatever. Just like process what you're doing and think about what you're about to do, and then think about like what's happening while you're doing it and what happens when you're done with it, and just get used to having that rational kind of process of understanding like this is something that's going to happen, this is what's going to
Right.
happen while it happens, here's how I'll feel after, and just let that be like a present part of your day. And this is of course applicable mostly just if you have severe anxiety or if it's just something that you struggle with. Then you don't
Right.
have to keep this going at just like if you're not like dealing with this, but just try to have like that voice. It's helpful for me with
Or if your ADHD feeds your anxiety too, because that can
yeah,
create the more sporadic thoughts.
it's a helpful thing for me. The fact that I tend to process things in thought and in words more so than I process it in emotion. Or if I do have
You
an
sure do
emotion.
talk a lot more than our friends.
Yeah,
Yeah, you sure do that.
you talk. But if I have like, if there's something going on that like is whatever like thing that you would normally feel as like an emotion, oftentimes that will like manifest as thoughts for me, as like either like a vocal word or like there's usually some mental thing about that. And so that's a helpful thing for me, being able to like know where that is in my brain, and the fact that all of those thoughts, since they're like vocalized in my head before I feel them, then I can have that sort of like internal dialogue like with myself about it, that I don't just like feel anxious, I hear my anxiety and can like speak to it.
Yeah, another good acknowledgement is like if you like talk yourself through your anxieties, you kind of speak them out loud. You can kind of see how ridiculous they are once they're spoken, because a lot of the shit you're thinking about that is your anxiety creating scenarios that don't exist is ridiculous when you say it out loud. It's gonna sound insane, and I not in like a demeaning way, like you're mental or you're deranged. Like it just, you'll be like, this sounds ridiculous, and I'm clearly making this up. Like for example, I used to have a job where I was just standing around a lot. I was just standing around and waiting for people to come to me to do my job. And so I was in the middle of like transitioning, and I was trying to get comfortable with my gender, and I was not having a good time at home with it. So I would just like manifest and get mad at people in my home for like doing shit before anything even happened, instead of thinking about any kind of progress being made. I was just creating these like violent scenario. It's kind of like if you were to write your own nightmare while you're awake. It's just like unnecessary, and when you acknowledge it out loud, it's easier to like see how silly it sounds, but it's very real, and it's definitely like it helps some people to talk it out with themselves. Some people really like need a therapist. Like if you need a therapist or you need a friend to confide in, find that for yourself. But just because I know that not everybody can like just afford therapy and shit. I get that, but there's definitely someone out there that if you can just work through that kind of stuff with yourself, by the time you find that person that you can confide in for that kind of stuff, whether it's like a professional or a friend or both, preferably both. You should definitely try to have both of those things as much as you can, physically. If you talk it out multiple times with yourself, not the same things, but like over time, once you get used to talking it out with yourself, then it becomes easier to talk it out with them. And then you can logically debunk your own anxieties, and it just starts to become like a game of badminton, just like a little fucking things flying at you, and you just racket them away.
And if you have difficulty
like a badminton batting range.
If you have difficulty with like, I guess like vocalizing these things or like actualizing this in a way that you can like process it or like speak about it, and it's just like a difficult thing to like actually speak about or like process, this is I guess the best advice that I could have for that. If you have difficulty with that, if you can hold a conversation with a dog or communicate with an animal that literally cannot understand English, but you can still figure out what your dog wants, or like, you know, whatever like your dog is like thinking about or whatever, and process what the animal who literally cannot communicate is doing. Or even if you're like, a lot of people, they speak for their pets, you know, like they're, you know, there's a big stretch, all that. If you can like vocalize that of like an animal, you can just do that for yourself. Just talk to it or try to understand it like you're looking at a fucking dog that literally can't communicate.
There's like 2 million pathways that any one of you would take to do this kind of thing. No two people are going to have the same path to concluding that chapter. Just, you know, so don't like think you need to like do research on how to like quell your anxieties like that. You know, obviously you should look into how to medically help yourself, but don't like act like you need a YouTube tutorial on how to talk to yourself. That's not how it fucking works. That's just not going to help you.
Yeah.
I wanted to just end this. This has been 45 minutes. I just wanted to end this segment by just saying, don't give up, and BigWowBig as a community is always here for you.
Of course.
But you reminded me to turn to a fun thing. You reminded me when you said pets, when you were talking about pets. Today, my sister and I took our dog to the dog park, and I wanted to tell a crazy story about that because we were just like sitting in this like patio kind of area. It's this really nice dog park. They've got like a big screen.
Lovely dog park.
My sister knows about that dog park because her friend is a musician. He performs there.
Indoor, outdoor.
Outdoor. But it's got like organized, I think it's fake grass. It looks like fake grass. But it's got like a sprinkler in the middle for dogs to like bite at the water and shit, you know. Tons of dog stuff. Tennis balls, employees that run around with the dogs and stuff.
Great.
It's great. It was really cool. And, you know, we'll probably go back again, I'm sure, several times in the future. But there was this woman who walked up and sat next to us, and her dog came up to me quite a few times, like pushing into me, like while I was petting him, like literally giant dog pushing into me to pet him. I was like, "Hey, buddy, what's up, Bozer?" And I was petting him and stuff, and I was like, "What's your name?" I checked his name tag, and it said Zazu, like from Lion King. And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And then there were quite a few wet ass dogs that came up to me. I was like, "Oh, cool, guys, thanks. That's cool, thanks."
Awesome, wet dog.
I'm glad to be a dog towel today. But what I was gonna say is the only other dog that stayed around me for an extended period of time, I was like petting him, and he was also super wet. But I was petting him. And I was like, "What's your name?" Simba. I'm not even fucking kidding. I was like, "Holy shit!" And guess what my sister's friend's dog name is?
What?
Nala.
Oh my god.
Dude, I was like, "What the fuck?" And she
Is it the same owners?
Should have seen. No.
Oh my
god.
god.
They're all random dogs.
You know, kids born in the 90s though.
But yeah, true. But yeah, the dog Zazu was just adorable and just was all over me. And
you know
I was like,
what
"What's
breed
up,
it was?
buddy?" I do not. But it was quite a large dog. A little larger than a golden retriever.
What color was it?
It had this like perfectly autumn brown fur, or like brown red, you know, just like the most dark red autumn leaf, and it was just the most. He was just the sweetest, and
I like big dogs.
He just like could not get enough of me, and thankfully he came over to me before I left. It was like bye Zazu, I'll miss you.
I wish I could take Sadie to the dog park, but she is such an anxious little creature and also refuses to stay in a collar or harness or anything, and will always find a way to slip out, so she just like cannot socialize.
Actually, you know what's funny is that our dog was pretty anxious to like get into stuff. Eventually she did, but she was like pretty cautious. She was like kind of watching shit before she went into it. And she often actually would just come lay by us and watch the other dogs just because it was like cool outside, so she got to just kind of lay. And it was really funny too because when Zazu came over to me, our dog went over to his owner and was like, yeah, I can do it too, fuck you guys. Yeah, that was just highlight of my day. It was he was just
Cute
really
doggy.
sweet. And yeah, because my sister was just like, he really likes you. I was like, I know, I'm gonna take him.
Steal the dog. Take the puppy.
But there were so many dogs. It was just delightful. There were so many. It was like mostly retrievers and like doodles. They were just all the sweetest. Every dog that came over, even, you know, obviously the super wet ones from the sprinkler. But they were super sweet, and I couldn't get enough of being like, what's up, Bozer? So I will happily be going back to that dog park anytime soon.
Anytime. Pet all those doggies.
Just great. It's a great dog park here
I don't think
in the
I
city
have
I live in.
since we got Sadie like 3 years ago. I think I've probably only called her by name maybe like 20 times because I refer to her exclusively as Bubbers. That I refuse to call her anything other than Bubbers. And she, to some extent, understands when I say Bubbers. But I just prefer that. I just call her Bubbers.
I have a lot of little.
I'm not gonna pronounce Sadie. I say Bubbers, because then I can go, hey, Bubbers.
So I have a lot of little like dog names. Like I call dogs like Ding Dong and Dum Dum a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what's up, Dingus? And that's really fun. I hardly ever call our dog's name is Kiki. I hardly ever call her Kiki. But it was the same thing. It's usually when they're in trouble, when they're doing something bad, that I'll like yell their name at them. I mean, that dog park was just the best. And like I said, I mean, the Lion King connection was wild because it was the only two dogs I got to see their name tags.
I was trying to get Sadie. Like, I was just sitting on the couch waiting for something in the oven, and I was just trying to get her to sit on the couch with me so I could pet her. And so I was like, Bubbles, you want up? You want up? You want up? And then I went, Sadie, and she went running to me. I was like, oh, the fear of God shot into her.
Oh, so we just don't have fun here anymore.
I think it's just that if she's
follower all of a sudden.
If she's being called Sadie, then typically that means that like somebody's like actually trying to get her. Like that's the like, you know, Adrian Michael.
Red alert. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been grinded to the bone by my job recently.
Yeah, rise and grind.
But in like the best way. It's super sweet. I work in a kitchen and it's just the best kitchen family like ever. I mean, the whole restaurant's great, but the kitchen family is just the best. It's super fun, and everyone in there is super sweet.
They're all quite lovely.
Yeah, and most of them speak mostly or only Spanish, but there's plenty of ways to communicate basic things like that, and they all know what like the orders look like and shit, because they've been there and shit. And most of the Spanish speakers are either like cooks or prep food, so you're hardly around them anyway. But sometimes like on Wednesdays, I work exclusively with one girl who speaks pretty much only Spanish, a few English words here and there, but she and I are tight. We have good communication.
Yeah.
We don't speak the same language at all. And they asked me that too when I was applying. They were like, "Is a language barrier like a problem for you?" I was like, "No, I've worked with people who speak Spanish before."
Yeah, there's this idea that you can't form like bonds or relationship with people through a language barrier. When I think a thought process like
I'm gonna
that,
build a wall.
Yeah.
I'm not talking to them.
You can, as long as you have something that you are like a unified thing that you are working towards together, some unified goal or purpose to be there, then you will find some way of either bonding or communicating through a language barrier like that. Like kids that grow up in multilingual areas, and like, you know, there's plenty of stories of the kids that like they grow up, they only speak English, their friends only speak Spanish, but they like play every day and still like communicate and get along.
Right.
It's like life just finds a way. That's not going to be anything that gets in the way. People keep finding ways to, like, people connected together before we even had language at all, and we were just going
right.
Like, you think that having
grr, stick, grr, rock, grr, fire, grr, air, grr, sun, grr, donut, grr.
I like the implication of that donuts were invented before spoken language.
Yeah, of course they were.
Of course.
Circles with holes in them. Easy peasy.
We got many of those in our own bodies.
Grr.
Grr.
Filet mignon. Grr.
Grr. Wagyu beef.
New York strip.
Grr.
Grr. Yeah, I mean, cattle was there.
Cattle was there in a more wild state, but they did have that beef.
Yeah, they had the most natural grills, just like rock in the sun.
Grr, 100% grass-fed. Grr.
Grr. Preheat to 450 degrees. Grr.
Put rock in sun for 3 hours.
There's only been like a few handful of occasions where like I'll be trying to ask her something and like it's just not getting through, but then eventually it will. But I'm just like, do I put these here? And like, yeah, you need those. I'm like, no, but do I put them here? She's like, yeah. I'm like, so I put him here? She's like, what? I'm like, okay, stop. We need to figure this out.
Reset.
And then eventually change. And then yeah, and then we figure it out. But yeah, I mean, she's the sweetest too. She often pulls out pictures of herself in like nice clothes and shows everybody.
Nice.
Apparently, she's a partyholic, is what goes around the kitchen.
Wow.
So I've heard. But in like a good way, she's a queen. All women are queens.
If she breathes, she's a thought. Apparently, for like most spoken languages that are like European, like Latin and Romantic and Germanic, all of these like languages that you are, as an American, most likely to encounter, as an American or European, most likely to encounter. Apparently, it's like, there's only about 1,000 words total that make up about like 99% of conversations in any language. Like, if you just
1,000 words total. Hamburger. Fry. French. Human. Burger. Ham. Hamburger.
Like, if you learn the 1,000 most used words, or even just like the 100 most used words in any language, then that's like the basis of being able to have like smooth communication like 99% of the time. Because if your whole conversation is, where do I need to go? You need to go that way. Boom. That's like, there's like 8 words in that. And it's like the easiest to communicate thing ever. And people think that you'd have to like learn an entire language when like you don't have to know the word for milk to like have a conversation with somebody in a different language. As long as you understand what connects point A to point B, then you can really just learn anything.
Well, also,
have I learned anything? No.
People got to understand that words are not the only way to communicate. You can do all sorts of physical actions that everyone understands. You can point, you can give a thumbs up, you can give a thumbs down, you can shrug, whatever, you know? Like, it's very easy to communicate if you just like don't be a total asswat about it. Like, you know, if you're not stubborn, like I don't get what happened to English. I don't know why all these foreigners are coming in and speaking googly eyes. I don't understand what the fuck they're saying. It's like, okay, then fucking go home.
I don't want them coming into my country speaking their language. A lot of the signs.
Speaking their hooey bakluey.
A lot of the signs you see here in Arizona, at like supermarkets or anywhere else, it'll be in English and in Spanish.
Right, yeah.
And of
Most
course,
places
people,
do that.
they throw their fits and stuff over that. But it's like, we are literally against the border to Mexico. It is right here. This land, like 100 years ago, was Mexico.
Yeah.
Like,
Y'all are,
it's a cow farm. Gonna be cows outside.
it's a cow farm. It's gotta find cows outside. It's just like,
You,
like
my brother in
settle
Christ,
down.
you moved to Arizona. You are going to see Mexicans.
Yeah.
You cannot avoid it. As much as you can avoid the sun out here. You know, one thing I love seeing in Arizona, whenever
What?
summer rolls around, is there are still people that will don like the full like big brimmed hat and poncho and everything, which is, you know, like clothing that is actually designed for heat of this region, so it makes sense to wear it. And honestly, it should just be the fashion, because a lot of the fashion that is across America as a whole is based off of East Coast New York fashion. So it's all these like clothes that are more tight fit, conform to the body, and are really good at trapping heat. But that's not good for like the entire West Coast. And so stuff like that, like the big old hats and the ponchos, like that's where
West
it's at.
Coast, make some noise. Yeah.
We gotta bring back regional variants of fashion, because it actually makes sense. If it's like 70 degrees in New York and 115 degrees in Phoenix, you should not be dressing the same. There should be two different standards for that.
I mean, it's just the mass capitalism of the same stores and shit everywhere.
It's just easier to pump t-shirts everywhere instead of making stuff that's better for the region it's in.
That's why America eats all the same shitty fast food, because it's fucking everywhere.
Yeah, that's
It's so
another
easy.
thing. What your diet depends on wherever you go, even though there's completely different animals and wildlife and vegetation that's native to Arizona. Still the exact same stuff that you eat here that you'd eat in New York. Because it's all just globalized. But it doesn't make any sense to eat it here, and it probably doesn't do you any favors here, because the reason why you need those nutrients and that vegetation and those animals that are native to here is because they, like, the nutrients you get for that help you with your specific environment. I feel like this is a good point to start wrapping things up, so I'll ask.
Yeah. I gotta go to the bathroom, so we should wrap things up. What's the question?
What is your favorite vegetable?
My favorite vegetable is probably broccoli.
Yo,
I love
same!
Broccoli's based.
Broccoli's so good!
Yeah.
It gets a
My
bad
sister
rap.
makes
It's so
some
good.
mean broccoli.
Now, what's your least favorite vegetable?
I don't know. I honestly don't even know all the vegetables I've ever tried.
My answer for this is pretty easy.
Are lima beans a vegetable?
Beans, I think, count as a vegetable, yes.
If it counts, then lima beans probably. I hate those.
I have to say, and this is probably going to be controversial for some people, sweet potatoes. Do
I hate
not
those.
like sweet potatoes.
I hate sweet potatoes.
Never liked them.
Cool. Leave
Cool.
a comment why you like them so we can ignore it.
I didn't used to like cornbread either, but now I love cornbread.
I do not like cornbread. I don't hate it. It's just not
gotta
my-
be
not my
like
thing.
decently sweet cornbread. If you get like Cracker Barrel cornbread and it's not really sweet and it's more, or there's like definitely some place that you get that cornbread, it's more like dry, it's a little bit saltier, it doesn't really have as much flavor. Like the difference between like Golden Corral cornbread and Cracker Barrel cornbread is like, I think like that sweetness is like a big difference. That it has to be sweet, in my opinion, or at least decently savory. But a lot of cornbread
Right.
ends up being kind of flavorless. Well, I think that does it for this late big wow night.
Yes.
Get out there, go like, subscribe, and comment, and
Go make some numbers happen.
Go make some cornbread.
Yeah. See you next week.